Okay guys, in this video, I'm going to show you the one place you need to build an outpost in Starfield. This place has everything you could ever want, and also a few surprises thrown in for good measure. Now, I've made a video on the optimal outpost location before, but that was a while ago, and there's been better planets discovered since then, so consider this an updated video on the topic. If that sounds good to you, then hit that subscribe button, and if you can, support this channel over at patreon.com/gaming with Griff Griffin. So in my opinion, the one place you want to build an outpost, if you want the best location in the whole game, is right here. This is Feynman 4. It's the fourth planet from the sun in the system, which is to the west of Alpha Centauri. It's got a very pleasant 0.57 gravity rating, oceans of liquid water that's safe to swim in, and you could probably drink it if you're feeling brave, and an atmosphere with a thin layer of O2. So let me tell you why this is a great place to set up an outpost, whether you're building your very first outpost in Starfield or you've already built dozens of outposts. The first reason is, of course, it's got a sheer abundance of resources. This place has a massive 8 different resources, which is the maximum amount of resources a planet can have. It's one of the few planets to offer this in Starfield, making it incredibly rare amongst the 1,000 or so planets in the game. Of course, it's not the only planet offering 8 resources in one, but the resources it does offer, in my opinion, are the most useful. You will find aluminium, argon, chlorine, chlorosilanes, helium-3, benzene, iron, and water. All great resources, and there's plenty of things you can craft with them. And I'll give you one of the most useful things you can craft with these, that's the adaptive frame item. Adaptive frames cost 1 iron and 1 aluminium, and they're used in all sorts of outpost development, so things like manufacturing, resource extraction, horticulture, domestication, and power generation. If you're building an outpost, you will need a lot of adaptive frames, and with a planet high in resources needed to craft them, you can just keep building an endless amounts and never run out. Another really useful function of adaptive frames is to level up. This is a key component of one of Starfield's best XP farms. That's because you actually get 1 XP every time you build an adaptive frame. Now, if you build 1,000 adaptive frames, you will get 1,000 XP. And with adaptive frames as easy to craft as just pressing a button, you're essentially getting XP every time you press a button. You've got the best collection of resources and a nice little XP farm. But where exactly should you build your outpost? It is, after all, a big planet. What you want to do is build on a tile with several resources in one. And to do that, zoom in on the planet from space and pick a place between tiles. So in other words, a place where the name of the biome changes when you slightly move the cursor. Land right there and you'll be between biomes. So you will have access to the resources from both. It's actually possible to set up your outpost on a tile with up to 5 resources, even though it is hard to do. You might have to give it more than a few goes. But you can double check, and to do that, just get out your scanner and you'll be able to see in the upper corner what resources are on that particular tile. When you're happy, put down your outpost beacon and start extracting those resources. If you're not happy, head back into space and try a new landing spot. Now, you might be thinking, why do I even need to build an outpost? Is it even necessary? Well, for me, there are 3 main reasons to build an outpost. Number 1, it's storage. Build a storage container and you can stash all of your contraband rather than taking it from system to system and risking getting it confiscated. Or you can store your resources and loot in there for when you're ready to sell them, because carrying them around with you will just slow you down. It also takes up a lot of inventory space, so you will have less room when you're looting more stuff. So storage is a primary reason to have an outpost. Saying that though, there is an unlimited storage chest in the basement of the lodge in New Atlantis, which you can keep an unlimited amount of stuff. So of course, storage isn't the only reason to build an outpost. Another great reason is to have more access to ship parts. When you build yourself a big landing pad at an outpost, these come with a terminal containing almost all of the various manufacturer's ship parts in one handy place. So when I'm building a ship, I always do it at an outpost landing pad. They have the biggest selection of ship parts, and also it's just less time traveling between the various ship vendors, because who wants to do that? And the third reason, in your outpost you can build a mission terminal to give yourself new missions, and these are by far the best way to farm legendary loot. You can take on a bounty mission from these mission terminals, eliminate the bounty, and you're guaranteed either a rare, epic, or legendary item. Then you can keep reloading the save a few seconds before the elite enemy goes down, and this will randomize the loot they drop. Mission terminals can be found in most cities, of course, but it's just handy having one you can fast travel right to, rather than having to land at a city and walking through all the crowds of annoying NPCs to get there. So yeah, outposts are still very useful in Starfield, no matter where in the game you are. And for me, Feynman 4 is the best of the best. But it is subjective, of course, and you may have a different favourite planet, so let me know in the comments. Speaking of which, another one worth giving a visit to is Androphon. This is a moon of Samati, and it's located right here. It has iron and aluminium, which again are important because they let you craft adaptive frames, which most of the structures require. And also because it's in the Narion system, it's close to where you'll be hanging out at the start of the game, making it a great early game outpost. A good one for beginners. You don't have to travel far at all to get to this place. Another one is Bessel 3. This is one with iron and aluminium again, but it also has nickel and cobalt. These two resources are vital if you want to improve your gear at workbenches and basically boost all your stuff. So with nickel and cobalt, you can craft mods at your weapons workbench, spacey workbench, industrial workbench, and research station. For me though, a big part of it comes down to what planet looks nice. That is a major deciding factor in outposts. So you can decide for yourself which of the three I've just mentioned you prefer. It really is subjective. Feynman 4, Androphon, or Bessel 3. You can't go wrong. And one final tip, I always recommend setting up an outpost on Venus. This is because Venus is essential in passing time, which helps you reset the stock of vendors. Time moves differently on Venus. 1 hour here is 100 hours of general space-time, so if you wait 1 hour, that's the equivalent of around 5 days. All of the vendors' money will come back when you wait on Venus for an hour, and you can then sell your loot to them all over again. So anyway, those were, in my opinion, the best planets to set up your outpost in Starfield, with Feynman 4 the best one, followed by Androphon, and Bessel 3 coming in third. And don't forget a supplementary outpost on Venus for all your waiting. Now, if you just wanted the best looking planets, I've got the video for you, which I am linking above. Starfield is home to some absolutely spectacular views, and I've visited all of the best ones in this video. So click that link and you will see the most jaw-dropping planets Starfield has to offer. But anyway, that's it from this video. Thanks as ever for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more Starfield videos, and if you can, support this channel over at patreon.com/gamingwithgriffgriffin.